Hello, and welcome to the Power of Healing Your Energy show. This is episode 38, and it's the Power of Wendy Gilhula. And hopefully, I'm pronouncing that properly because I did not ask at the beginning. And we are asking, kindness is who you are. Do you have the courage? So let's find out together, shall we? Hello and welcome again to the Power of Healing Your Energy show. This show is all about your unconditional love, your light, your intuition, your soul's purpose. And depression and anxiety are a side effect of not living your life intuitively, not trusting your gut, the lost connections with your higher self and others. So let's go higher and feel deeper. Hello, everyone. I'm Christine with 24 Karat Healing, and as you all know, I'm a medium and I'm your intuitive energy coach and old soul healer. And this week, we have the lovely Wendy Gilhula, and she is an educator, writer, and author of the Pika Bunny book series, which I love. I think it's adorable. She has created an innovative learning series that teaches understanding and kindness. It looks like she has 3 series of books, so we'll, of course, go back to those. But they feature life lessons children often face in a complicated world and present tools to help them navigate such complexities with bravery, understanding, and kindness. And her books are a yearly feature at New York City Book Expo America and BookCon. And she's devoted her career. She's been helping children for over 20 years. And she's been highly recommended, by therapists, counselors, activists, and teachers alike. And she's from Tennessee. Hello, Wendy.
Hi, Christine.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I believe before we talked, we first connected back in, I can't even remember. It felt like November, December, but maybe it was January. It just seems like time has flown by so quickly.
It does. January was a long month, but it's been a long year this week.
Yes, it has, definitely. And I'm just curious. We also talked. So not only did you create this for kids, but just maybe give us a little background, because I was asking about the Pika, if that was such a thing. So give us a little more insight into how you came up with that.
Sure. Well, over 20 years ago, I wrote a manuscript, and it turned out to be this book, Pika Bunny Has a Big Question. And it got rejected because the publisher told me that kindness was not relevant. Wow. So that was back when, Mr. Rogers was on every day and people held doors for each other without even thinking about it. We had landline phones. People were just more courteous, maybe you could say. And my main character was Jack. He was a white rabbit with long ears. And when I brushed this manuscript off in 2014, I thought, there are a lot of white rabbits with long ears, and no offense, I love white rabbits with long ears. But I thought, well, if this could really be a book, because in 2014, I thought, well, maybe I'll self-publish. Maybe I'll just do this for my own children because my own children were in college. So I was thinking it was just going to be like something that I would do just for me. And it was still a secret because nobody in my family knew that I had manuscripts in the bottom of my dresser drawer. So I decided, well, you know what? I'll do some research about rabbits. Maybe I'll find something. And I found an article about the magic rabbit. And I was like, what is that? It looks so cute. I don't even know what it is. Is it a mouse? Is it a squirrel? But how is this a rabbit? Because it doesn't have long ears. And I found that scientists are trying to get the American pika, or you could say American pika, on the endangered species list. And I was like, where is this animal? And it's in the Rocky Mountains.
Okay.
Way up high, because it needs a cold climate. Scientists are trying to get on the endangered species list because of global warming. So
Wow.
that's how I got Pika.
I love that. And I mean, the animals, the animals are unconditional love. And I love that you
Yeah.
chose. And now they're, trying to work to get them on the endangered species list. That's absolutely beautiful. Now, I did not, there is also an app as well. We talked about that before. It's for kids, it's on Google and Apple, right? But
Right.
tell us a little bit more about the app and how did that come about?
Well, the app tracks areas of kindness at school, which we can't use right now, but we can when we go back. And if you're homeschooled, you can kind of put your acts of kindness in school. Then there's the home, kindness at home, and there's kindness to our planet. And that came about because this came about after 3 of my Pika Bunny books were already out, and I've done about 300,000 Skype miles speaking to classrooms all over the world about kindness. And there was a little boy before my reading started, but I was live. There was a little boy on the second row. I believe he was in first grade. And he was I can't say he was bullying the child next to him because I don't know if he had been doing it over and over and over, but he was being very unkind to the little boy next to him. And I said, "Oh, you on the second row in the blue shirt." And he was like, "Oh, that's me." And I said, "What does your shirt say?" And he looked down and he said very proudly, "Kindness is cool." And I thought that was ironic because here he's wearing a kindness shirt. And he's being unkind to the kid next to him, but it's okay. He didn't get the irony, but I did. And the only thing I did was kind of break. I interrupted him. So, but I was a guest, so I was just trying to bring up something up about kindness. And then I kept thinking about it and kept thinking about it for a couple days, like how are we kind? How are we not kind, and how are we neutral? And all the Be Kind t-shirts, the cutest ones were out. You could order a whole bunch of them. And I thought, well, if I was wearing one, would somebody think I was more kind, neutral, or not kind? Like, where would I rank? So I woke up one morning, and before my feet even hit the floor, I remember watching my feet actually hit the floor. I thought to myself, I'm going to create an app that tracks your kindness. And then I jumped out of bed and I went and did it. Never did anything like that before. And my children are like, "You're doing what?" And I was like, "No, I'm making an app." And they're like, "You don't know how to do that." And I'm like, "Well, I don't really have to. I can have somebody help me."
Yes.
Sometimes you can get inspired while you're sleeping.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about my dreams. I'm always asking, and it's amazing what comes up when you ask or you put it out there, right?
Yes,
It's
or write it down or say it out loud, because I think your subconscious starts working on it more, brings it more to your conscious more. And then when you act, when you add actions to those intentions, that's where I think it gets the power.
Yes, definitely. And I downloaded the app before I got on, so I've got it on my phone there. I
What's your
do, and
score, Christine? I'm trying to
I,
see.
I've been be giving the patience one. And my partner has been, I've been feeling stuff off of him, so he's been challenging me. So I need to work on that. Did I do? Don't complain. Oh, no, I did pretty good, and do my chores without being asked. I love that.
A lot of parents said thank you, have thanked me.
Yes.
Because they can, instead of, keep reminding, they can say, "Oh, did you earn your Pika Bunny point on that?"
Mm.
So, yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying to help everybody.
Then it doesn't seem like well, I don't like the word, like you're just always on somebody or nagging or, just picking or whatever the term is, right? They're like, "Ooh, it's like getting a gold star in a way." Does that?
Well, that is because people ask me why there was no reward in the kids version.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it for a long time, and I realized that I wanted the rewards to come from the gatekeepers, parents, grandparents. Plus, when you actually do a genuine, or when I do a genuine act of kindness, my reward is how it feels in my heart. Like I can actually feel it in my spirit when I do something kind. So that should be like, I'm hoping that that's the ultimate reward. But if people need incentives, then parents can say, you know, if you earn 20 Pika points at home this weekend, you know, we're going to have ice cream, or, you know, we'll play a board game, or whatever they want to use.
Yeah, so there's an incentive to always be reminded to be kind. Yeah.
Well, and I'm hoping that some acts of kindness, you're like, oh, I forgot I could do that. Like I can write a letter to somebody, and that would be kind of fun to get a letter in the mail these days.
True enough.
And I can, you know, I can do something. Maybe I'm not complimenting my spouse as much as I could or should, or I didn't give any hugs today. I'm like, oh, I better give a hug before midnight so I can get my point.
Or taking care of the pets. I know for my sister and her kids, like they love having the pets, but I find when I'm over there, they're always reminding them to take out, or even take out the garbage, or did you clean up after your pets? Did you feed them? You know, take them for a walk. Yes.
Right, right.
Yeah. So just little things that I guess, just so it's always at top of mind for them, and it's just becomes part of their DNA, if that makes sense, of who they are.
Well, I think everybody's born with that. Most people are born with it, but I feel like it outgrows you by the time you're 7. It starts to
Yes.
outgrow, and I would either like it to hit, sustain longer, or bring it back to adults and kids who it started to, you know, die. And so
Yes.
I don't want kindness to be a trend. I want it to.
Yeah.
Because people are being kind now, but I don't want them to forget to be kind later. It seems like, you know, it goes.
Yeah, like I've had this discussion quite a few times with people already. When everything goes back to normal, and I always ask, what is normal? We
Oh, you
cannot,
know what?
we cannot go back.
We can't go back, but you know what? That's kind of a good thing, because some of the things that we would go back to aren't really good for us.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
how many times, I think the first week that you're isolated or not, and when you're in your home or whatever, it's really hard because you're like with yourself. And then you start thinking about your priorities, like what's important to me right now. Like, of course, relationships are important, and then I kind of like concentrating on one thing at a time and not having to concentrate on 10 things at a time.
Yes.
Even though I've been working from home for the past 8 years, it's even changed for me.
How has it changed? I guess maybe give someone a visual about that, because I think people are grappling with that still.
Well, before I worked from home, and I'd have all my students would come in one by one for an hour of math tutoring and mentoring. And that was great because, you know, I was right there with them. But then when it went to online, I was like, wow, I'm losing that connection of being in the same room with them. So I am really going to, like, I thought I was in the moment before, but now I'm really in the moment to make sure that I'm connected to them, even though we're not in the same room. And that to me is more important than it was before. I mean, I wanted to be in the moment, but I think I was distracted by some other elements. And now I'm like, I'm in the zone. I'm there.
Yeah, yeah, it's like finding more presence to be present. And that's beautiful, a beautiful way to honor the kids, definitely. And yeah, so you're still doing math tutoring, and you were a former dance teacher as well. How do you think all of that kind of came together? Did it give you experiences to, I guess, envision what you're doing now?
They're so related. I call it like the tapestry of my life. So my first career was dance choreography and instruction. So I would have about up to 25 kids at a time. young kids, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, and what I would do is I use my intuition, and I kind of honed it in on being able to pick out positive things from each child, and then help them discover that. Even though we were really dancing, when I was using my voice and I would give them encouragement, I would use my intuition with them. And some of them wanted to be in the front and they just wanted to be a leader, but we needed to be a whole group where everybody was equal. So I always had to teach and help them discover that being equal was more powerful than one person having all the power. So that was fun. And getting them to all move at the same exact time on the same exact beat. And then they were so proud of how far they had come. I'd love. And then I transitioned into math tutoring, which is a very odd transition. I kind of fell into it, and I still use those same skills.
Okay.
If I was going to have a superpower, I would say it was untangling. So I'm able to, I listen, and then I can pull out things that need to be focused on and kind of help untangle something that maybe they're going through, or maybe a reason why they can't focus on the math, or maybe they're afraid of the math. And then one of my math students said to me one time, "What do you do all day when you're not tutoring?" And in my mind, I said, "I write books that kids are never going to read." And I didn't like that inner dialogue. So that's why I brought out my manuscripts. And in my books, I try to help kids deal with anxiety, or we talk about kindness.
Yes.
And the hardest book I've had to write was Pika Bunny Says EEP. That means no in nature. My friend and neighbor, Mary Alice, said, "Wendy, you have to write a book about bullying." And I was like, how do I find courage to write a book about bullying? But I did a lot of research, and I'm very proud of it. So.
And it needed to come out, and I love that. I love how you untangling. That's a very good analogy and tapestry. I am very visual, so when you throw those words out, I can see it. I can see you doing it. I just want to say hello to Candy. Candy is from Edmonton. That's amazing. Hello, fellow Edmontonian. She's saying this is a great video. She has a hard time with this. I'm such a social person, but it's a good thing to reflect on things we take for granted. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And thank you for sharing your vulnerability with us.
Yeah. Gratefulness has gotten me through. I don't know if it has for you, Christine, but I had already been in the process of learning a lesson to be grateful before this has been going on, and just focusing on what I have instead of what I don't have really changes my whole perspective and point of view. I can't watch the news. I get too emotional. I can't watch the news all day long. So I try to check in at lunchtime, and I'll check in a little bit in the evening time to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And just the rest of the day, I'm so grateful for this talk with you today. So I've been focusing on that and being excited about that, and just trying to find the big things and the little things. Like I still have running water. I have food in my pantry right now. The birds are singing. They've given me so much joy. They're just singing all day. And I try to focus on things like that.
I love that, being present, being aware. Gratitude will change any attitude. And it's funny you talk about birds. Man, I have never seen so many swallows. Like, it was a swarm. You know how you see a swarm of, and going into the trees, and they were flowing, and they were just, I was mesmerized this morning looking out the window. So there's a lot of stuff going on that we can now pay attention to.
And how beautiful it is to watch the birds. And like, how do they know where they all know where they're going, and it's beautiful. And then they're all talking and they're all singing. And
Yes.
what are they singing? And they don't know all this is going on, or maybe they do know all this is going on, but they still they are living in the moment, and it helps me to live in the moment as well.
Yes. And animals and children are unconditional love, and they actually teach us way more than we teach them. I like to think, but Robin, hi Robin. Yeah, nice to see you. And she's saying hi, Candy. She's from Edmonton as well. So can we get some folks from Tennessee? No, I'm kidding.
I'll try. I'll be getting on my
It,
friend.
it's all good. It's all good. But you're wearing, why are you wearing orange today as well? We talked about that earlier.
We did. Well, I I was thinking I was going to wear green or purple, and then I just got this like an intuition. I don't know. I always listened to that little voice, and it said wear
Mhm.
orange today, and I was like, orange. Ooh, orange, Tennessee. All right, I'll wear orange today. And I find if I don't listen to that inner voice, I'm always sorry. I don't know why. It could be something small like take an extra bottle of water, and I'm like, what? Why do I need extra bottle of water? I'm just going to the bank, but lo and behold, I'm going to need that extra bottle of water because maybe I got the flat tire that day or something.
Yes.
Just a lot of times it doesn't make sense why, but I try to follow that little inner voice every single time. So I wore orange because of that, and orange is the color of the Tennessee Volunteers.
Yes, that's right. Amazing. And then I had pulled a card for everybody. Like I've done quite a few lives. I already talked about this, but it was all about the sacral chakra and orange. It's just, yeah. And me, I wore pink because of the full pink super moon that we just
Oh
had
yeah.
last. That was pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Well, I didn't get to see it because we were overcast here, and
But you'll still,
and
you'll
I'd
see
love
it
to go.
tonight.
Oh well, it's still overcast here.
Oh,
There's
man.
no thunderstorms, but yeah, I do love I love a full moon. I just love to just stare at it. It's so
Yes.
beautiful.
Lots of energy. And it teaches us as well to go with the flow. So,
And
so go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, the whole topic this week, we were going to talk about kindness is who you are. Do you have the courage? And we picked that specifically, especially for what's happening right now, whether you want to call it social distancing, isolating. I call it incubation, but go ahead. Yeah.
That's a very good word, incubation, right now, because I
Mm,
kind of feel like I felt like this for maybe almost 2 months now. Like I'm in
mm,
a cocoon, and I'm
yes.
like really wanting to bust out, but I don't know what I'm going to be. But I think it's not the right time. So incubation in the cocoon I feel like I'm in right now kind of makes sense to me.
Yes, definitely. So, you talk about your Skype hours or were they hours or miles?
They're
Remind
miles.
me. Miles,
They're
okay. There is such a thing? I like,
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm a Microsoft educator.
Mm,
So when I'm reading in India, I will get X amount of miles from my house to wherever the school is. So they add up. So I have about 300,000 miles that I've traveled via Skype.
wow. Wow. That's pretty spectacular. Now, about your books, like Pika Bunny and the Thunderstorm, that was
Mhm.
2017. And then what was the whole premise around that book?
A Pika Bunny in the Thunderstorm is a story that I wrote for myself when I was 6
Hmm.
and really afraid of thunderstorms. I grew up as an only child, so in my room, I didn't share a room with anybody. So I was like, I felt alone a lot because I was only
Okay.
child. And it's a story that I told myself about each of the elements of the storm. So the wind happens to be the one I'm most afraid of.
Hmm.
And I would think to myself, well, why is the wind? What does the wind do? Why does it sound like it's howling at the old leaves? Why is it yelling? And then I thought, oh, I guess when I was 6, I knew to turn it into something else in my imagination. So in the book, Pika Bunny's asking Mama if she's afraid of the wind because he's trying to decide if he should be afraid or not. And it's bedtime, so she gets his hairbrush and she brushes his hair and she said, like the wind, this brush brushes the leaves and it leaves the new green leaves of spring. So that was the reason I was telling myself, was like it was cleaning up and making everything, fresh and new. And so Pika Bunny decides that maybe he's not afraid of the wind. But I do that with each of the elements of the thunderstorm. And that can be not a literal thunderstorm, but it can be a thunderstorm in your life, like what we're going through now, that you have a choice to look at each element and decide how you want to see it. You can choose to be afraid, or you can choose to look at something that may be good that comes out of it. Even though this is a horrific thing, there will be good that ends up coming out.
Yes, perception is everything, having trust. And if you're living in fear, I flip it. I mean, it takes practice to
It
love,
does.
because love transforms everything. No.
Well, if you could try to look through the eyes and heart and hands of love, it does help. It doesn't make it go away, but I'm not fearful all day, and that
Yeah,
helps.
that does. Now, the next book you had is Pika Bunny Has a Big Question. That was 2018.
Hmm. So Pika Bunny asks Mama what love is,
Mm.
and that's a hard one to answer. So she tells him what she thinks love is, but he's like, I don't understand what she's saying, because she said love is giving, and giving is the happiest love can be. He's like, what? Okay, Mama. So he decides to pick 3 flowers for Mama because they stand for his 3 favorite words: I love you.
Aw.
But on the way home, he finds 3 people who need to be loved in 3 different ways. So he doesn't end up with any flowers left for Mama, and it's really fun to read interactively with the kids, because they'll start counting down the flowers, and then you see them thinking, "Oh my gosh, she has no flowers left for Mama. What's going to happen?"
That's, yeah, through the eyes of a child. Yeah. And I'm always talking about, going back to your inner child, dreaming, having fun, finding the magic in everyday life, because somewhere along the way we kind of lost it. So that's why I wanted to bring you on, because it's not only just for the kids, it's for the inner kids.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's for the yeah, and that there's an adult. Well, not, I like to say adult version, 18 plus version of the app called the Practice
Yes.
Intentional Kindness app. So maybe get that after this is over. Just look on your phone and see if there's 1 or 2 things that you can find a day that you probably you would do if you remembered, and
Yes.
maybe that can kind of help.
All right. I'm just going to put it in the comments. And now the 18 plus version is only available on Apple. Is that
Yeah,
right?
right now,
Okay.
yes. I don't have an Android version for that ready yet.
All right. So I'll make sure to put that in the comments as well. And then the third book, Pika Bunny Says EEP.
Hmm.
What's
So,
happening?
Pika Bunny, what is happening is exactly how this book goes, because it's not it's linear, but the kids have to connect the dots for themselves. So when I
Mm.
go to speak on that book, usually my books are for kindergarten through 2nd grade, but schools have been inviting me, or were inviting me, to come in and talk to kindergarten through 5th grade because of the content.
Hmm.
So Pika Bunny asks old Daniel a random question. It's a big question, but we're trying to figure out why he's asking that question. Then he goes to another adult, a duck who has courage, and he asks her, "How do you find courage?" And the kids are like, the very first thing I say when I speak to them about it is, "You have to have a lot of courage to write a book about bullying."
Mm.
And then it's silent because they all understand. And I have this little Me Too symbol with the hand, like this.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anytime they want to, maybe they're too afraid to raise their hand about whether or not they get bullied, because sometimes they'll hide it. They're like, "Do you see me? Like that's me too, but I don't want to raise my hand." And Pika Bunny asks um, the duck, how she finds courage. And she said, you have to know why you need courage.
Hmm.
And that's how I feel when I watch somebody get bullied. So then we realize that Pika Bunny's asking these big questions because his friend is getting bullied. And so he learns just to say no. Well, when one person says no to a bully, that can give the bully more power.
Hmm.
But all the friends that were watching and witnessing as well, because most of the time, if you're getting bullied at school, they're witnesses. The witnesses just started saying no, and the bully got overwhelmed by the no's. Nobody's screaming at the bully, just people are saying no to the bully. And we practice this. We literally practice this in the classroom. We have a pretend bully and a pretend person getting bullied, and we practice saying no or eep. And it's really funny because the person who's the pretend bully, when they hear 10, 20 kids, 30 kids say no, not screaming, they will physically turn their body away.
Hmm.
And so that's what the bully does in the book. The bully walks away because the bully can't win if 10, 5 people are saying no. It takes the power away from the bully. So that's what that story is about.
Absolutely. So I just hear connection, and that's exactly what we're here for. Is we're divinely and intricately connected more so than we think we are. And when I think of bullying, I mean, yes, the kids, and it's amazing how we all come together for that. What about when we're adults, and especially now that we're all online? Are you seeing anything, or do you have any recommendations for that?
Yes, I think that you don't have to have a long speech, and when you leave your emotions out of your reaction and just say no, or just say no, they're gonna what no what, like what is that? And if somebody else responds no and somebody else says no, they're like, oh wow, this is not going over like I thought it was. And then either they're going to lash out and then you need to just walk away or they're going to reconsider what they're doing and not continue.
Very true, very true. Um, what now? Your books are feat. Are you looking at writing another book? Are you working on something?
Yes, I have another manuscript. It's actually for a chapter book. A lot of my little Pika Bunny fans have asked me to write chapter books so they can grow up with Pika Bunny. So
Oh,
I have a manuscript out. It's called Pika Bunny and Friends, and it's the Christmas list. So I'm
hmm.
hoping to find a home for that.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. I would definitely read it.
Oh,
Why not?
thanks.
And your books are featured at the New York City Book Expo. And I mean, I don't know too much about that because I'm up here in Canada, but and BookCon, is that kind of like a Comic-Con
It is
sort
kind
of?
of. It is kind of. So
Okay.
the Expo is first, and it's
Hmm.
been canceled for this year, unfortunately. But
Yes.
the Expo is first, where the booths of publishers and everything related to books, but it's geared more to the people in the industry.
Mm.
Then for the weekend, it's opened up to the public and it becomes BookCon, and they'll have authors signing books at Expo, and then they'll also sign books at BookCon. And you can get a lot of you pay a pretty big price, big ticket to get in, but you get so many free books.
Oh,
People bring empty suitcases, and you
wow.
can check your suitcase, and they will just fill up the book, and they could barely drag it on the wheels out. That's how many free books they get. So, and a lot of bloggers like to go, and librarians, so they can
Oh,
get free books for their libraries.
yes. Wow. No, that sounds fantastic. I mean, I love books. Period. And I'm kind of missing going to the library, even though it is online. I
Yeah,
like the feeling of a book in my hand. It's just,
I do too.
there's,
Maybe I wonder, it's because we grew up like that,
hmm,
and then I wonder if Generation Alpha is not going to like that as much. Like, oh, I like to scroll. That's what I like to do when I read a book. It's going to be
Yes.
interesting.
And I just want to remind everyone, if this is your first time, please say hello. Let us know where you're from. If you're on the replay, please say hello. If you have any questions, we will get back to you. We're not going to leave you hanging. And if you want to get a hold of Wendy, we have all our links below. If you need the links to the apps that are available as well. And so I guess my question is, do you ever have anybody ask you how to become a writer, an author, or publish?
Yeah, actually, just a couple of weeks ago, I started the Pika Bunny Power Hour, which we haven't even talked about.
Oh,
So what I'm doing now is if writers have a finished first draft or second draft of a children's manuscript, we can have a discovery call to see if we're a good match. But what I do in my Power Hour is I use all the skills that I accumulated through my tapestry,
mm,
and I help jump in there and be creative in your manuscript. Like ask questions like a kid would, because I
okay.
still have that kid inside of me, and maybe untangle some plot things, or just use my intuition on
Yeah.
what I think a child would say. And
Mm.
I've done it 4 times now, and it just started a couple of weeks ago, and I love it. I have so much fun. We talk about messaging, age group, illustrators, a possible app for your book, lots of things. So yeah, I
Wow.
just started that a couple of weeks ago. I love it.
Yeah, I don't know.
How'd you know to ask me that?
It, I'm intuitive. No. Oh my God,
How
that's too
is it
funny.
right
And your
Everybody's
energy changed. Like it just, you lit up when you talked about it. I'm like, yeah, yeah, this is, and when, that's how I describe things to people when they ask, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing with my life, my career? I get a lot of those questions. And I say, find things that make you go, ha, like just light up. Though that's what you need to go with. It's not how much money you make. It's not your title. It's the feeling. You gotta go with the feeling. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it'll because people will draw. I guess they'll come to you because they see that you're excited about it and they'll want to know more.
Hmm,
So yeah, there you go. I'm a
absolutely. Like
believer,
I'm
Christine.
a believer. Funny. So anything else you'd like to share with us? Probably going to wrap up in the next 5 minutes or so. And if you have any upcoming online events or anything you'd like to share, or how to get a hold of you, get your books.
Well, LinkedIn is a great place to find me and find out more about the Pika Bunny Power Hour. All my books are online wherever you buy books, and I appreciate every book that's sold. I use a lot of the money that I make. Well, I don't make a lot of money. Authors don't make a lot of money,
Yes.
but a lot of what I make, I donate books.
Oh,
I donate
wow.
more books, and I love to read. And as soon as Cincinnati Children's Hospital can host me at their Ryan Seacrest studio, I already have plans to go and read or play bingo or whatever with the kids at Children's Hospital. I love to go to hospitals and try to get their minds off of their little problems for.
I didn't even mention Ryan Seacrest. That was part of the bio, but I had to cut it back a bit. I'm glad you brought that up, that you go to
Well,
the
that's all right.
hospitals. I didn't know there was such a place. Go ahead and tell us more about that.
Okay, so this Ryan Seacrest Foundation sponsors, or they start up radio stations in some of the major hospitals in the United States. So I've read in Children's National in Washington, D.C. I am grateful for every reading. I am a regular at Boston Children's,
Mm,
Ryan Seacrest Studios. I love that. I've been into the Atlanta Children's Hospital
wow.
studio. I'm hoping to get in Vanderbilt in Tennessee. And
Mm,
then I'm a regular at Cincinnati Children's, and I'm hoping to go to Denver. And there's one in California, and I believe there's one in Texas. I want to go to all of them. I'd like to read.
yeah. Oh, that sounds wonderful, and I'm sure the kids are just hanging off of every word, and just right into the book there. So I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you. That's wonderful. Yeah. So sorry, and to get a hold of you through LinkedIn, you have your website as well.
WendyGilhula.com, Amazon. Yeah, reach out.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I just even talking to you, I feel like I am writing a book, but it has nothing to do with kids. But I've always thought I'd like to write a children's book. So that's interesting.
We'll get that first draft done, and then,
Yeah.
then let's get in it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's have fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we need to do is just go back to your hobby maybe, or find a new hobby. Or I think that I kind of get excited, like maybe this is going to be a new renaissance period
Oh,
where people
Renaissance.
are really going to hone in on skills and
Mm.
craftsmanship. Look at all the people that started sewing
Oh,
again, that
yeah.
were sewing, and people are going to have time to really focus on these types of things, and they're going to be creating things because of lack of things. And I can't wait to see what comes out of this new renaissance. I mean, that's what I think.
I think that's interesting. You use the word Renaissance because I'm just gonna show this graphic quickly because I woke up 4 weeks ago with a love summit. And this is what I created. This, and it's coming up again this Saturday. The times have changed from 9 a.m. To noon, but it's all about I wrote, the bio was Renaissance, unconditional love, the 5D energy. So that's what it's about. Wow. A lot of synchronicities here, Wendy. It's beautiful.
For a reason.
Yes, everything happens for a reason. Don't question it. We've been questioning things for far too long. And that's why we are where we are. So just so you guys know, it's this Saturday, April 11th, new time, 9 a.m. to noon Mountain Standard Time, Facebook, YouTube. Check it out. We're going to have, I believe, a tree healer. And we're going to have a body scanner, and there's a couple other folks that are joining us. So you got to tune in. All right, enough about that. But you have anything else you'd like to share? Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate what you're doing. I love what you're doing. You're helping the kids. You're helping the big kids. You're helping all of us.
Helping the little kids inside the big kids. I'm
Yes.
trying. Just, reach out, connect. It's a time of connection now. It's a time of growth.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Christine.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm sure we will connect again. And guys, I want to wish you an amazing week. Please reach out, like she says, please keep connecting, and always think, how may I serve? Because when you turn the focus off of yourself and what's going on here, it transforms. So yeah, tune in for Saturday. We'll see you next Wednesday. And if you want to get a hold of me, you know how to reach me. And please remember, healing begins where the ego ends. Take care.